the introduction video. Now, this one is actually going to be an actual title. This one's going to be Sex and Dating, Self-Improvement, Who Are the Real Pickup Artists and Dating Coaches. Now, I got the idea from O'Shea Duke Jackson and Ringo TV Raw, because they say that apparently they got all these wannabe dating coaches, wannabe pickup artists, and he wants somebody to really come in here and really give out some real 100% accurate information. So I decided to do exactly just that. Now, to me, these guys that you see on YouTube, they got the dress shirt and the dress pants, that drive the fast sports cars and live in 2-story, 3-story, 4-story houses, that claim they're friends with multi-billionaires and millionaires. The vast majority of them are just lying, they're fake, they're phony, and they're just saying stuff just to tell you that. A lot of them borrow that stuff, because a lot of that stuff that they borrow is like almost between $5,000 to like $20,000 or $30,000 the rent, and to try to own is like past $50,000. So a lot of them just rent that stuff to advertise you to buy their books and their DVDs and their 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour pickup artist seminars. Now, this is going to be 2 stories and 1 video. Now, the reason why I say there needs to be self-improvement in high school, college, and work is because too many men are confused on the sex and dating dynamics. Most men from the age of 18 to 29, when they get into the real world, they don't have the slightest idea or clue on how to open their mouth and talk to a woman, me sometimes included. And you end up start to copy things from movies and television shows, and then next you know, you find yourself handcuffed in the back of a police car because you're taking stuff from movies, television shows, rap music included, and commercials, and saying, yo baby, hey mom. All of that stuff is a nice far cry for sexual harassment. Yeah, I'm going to probably have to make another video about the 5 things that now are considered sexual harassment to women. Because yo baby, hey mom is one of them. But this video is going to pick up where the current one left off. Or I just might delete that one and just apologize in this video. I might apologize twice in 2 videos, so don't be, complaining. Now, my point is, the reason why I say it needs to be in high school and college, because too many guys don't not have the tools. That means how to socialize. A lot of guys do not know how to socialize the women. A lot of guys have confidence issues. How many of y'all have seen YouTubers tell you there's no such thing of confidence? Okay, I'm going to tell you what the problem with that is. That's a person who's never been good at anything in their life. They've never been good at sports. They've never been good at relationships, friendships. They haven't been good at anything. And they've never tried to do any of those things. Now, what is an incel? An incel is someone who does not have the ability to physically, sexually attract women. That means he can't get black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. She could be tall, she could be short, she could be athletic and good looking. She could be athletic and average looking, not necessarily ugly. And for the love of money, he still can't get a woman. It could be 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and he will struggle for 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9. It could be 10 years, and he will still struggle with the opposite sex. And he will put all his hopes on pickup artists and dating coaches, something that they do all the time. And you see pickup artists and dating coaches, hold on. Not supposed to see it on camera, but it is what it is. Um, the pickup artists, because it's distracting to the video, the pickup artists and the dating coaches lied to these incels. Do you know how Midtown was created? Midtown was created by pickup artists. And incels are also created by pickup artists and dating coaches. See, the real pickup artist, the real dating coach, if there actually really is one, they don't go by the names of pickup artists and dating coaches. They would go by the name of a practitioner. Now, what's another word for practitioner? A doctor. A doctor, a scientist would be more accurate. You remember 2 months ago, back in July, I should say less than a month ago, remember when we had that earthquake on the holiday? Remember when we had a 6.3 or 6.4 or 6.6 earthquake? Remember that? Well, guess what? Those people that you saw on TV, those were practitioners. Now, how would they come up with the information and the data to go out there and find out that there's going to be an earthquake to hit California? You have to go to the location where it happened 20, 30, or even 50 years ago, right? It could be 70 or 100 years ago. In worst case scenario, it could be almost 150 years ago. They have to go to that location and find out what happened during the last earthquake. And that's how they're able to collect enormous information and data research on when we're going to get hit by an earthquake. And they don't just do studies on earthquakes. They do study on Mother Nature, when it's too hot, when it's too cold, when we get a thunderstorm, when there's going to be a twister, a tsunami, a hurricane. They study all of that 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They study this information. If there's a nuclear strike, if another country has a nuclear bomb and they want to bomb another country, well, they'll go to where they did all the nuclear testing from 50, 60, 70, or even 100 years ago, and they will be able to go tell the CIA, the FBI, and the U.S. military in the next 10 or 15 years, there's going to be an attack on A, B, C, and D. And that's how the police, the FBI, the CIA, and the U.S. military is able to stop the threat from even taking place. If there's a bombing, how does a bomb expert find out that there's going to be a bomb threat in another city a year from now? By going to the last place where a bomb took place. And this is called a practitioner. This is someone who goes out and does research and proves or disproves somebody's claims. So what's another way that we can say these are the pickup artists and the dating coaches? How about we look at when they take the terminology money, looks, and status? Now, when you see them take two regular guys, two average men, let's say we got Jim, who's a businessman, and on average, Jim might make $15,000 at the New York Stock Exchange in New York City. And let's say Billy is from Chicago and he drives UPS truck and he makes $20 an hour. Well, they'll conduct an experiment where they'll send these two men to Los Angeles, probably the Grove or Santa Monica, and have them date different women to see who has the most success and who unfortunately has failure. So let's say Jim, that's from New York City, Stock Exchange, that's a businessman that makes $15,000 to $20,000. Let's say they have him date a beautiful black woman. And let's say he gets the phone number by the second or third date. Now, it might be 4 months later before it becomes official that they're a dating couple, but he goes off with a hitch. So the information tells them that because he has a high status job and he dresses highly professional and he has people skills, social dynamic skills, that's why he's able to get the phone number without no struggle. And he's calm, he's focused, he's relaxed, He's not stumbling under his words. He's not all over the conversation. He's not nervous. The girl's not nervous. He's calm. The girl's calm. And the exchange takes place. Now, let's say Billy, that's from Chicago, that works for UPS, that makes $20 an hour. Let's send him to Beverly Hills. And let's say they have him go talk to a black woman himself. And let's say that he stumbles across his words. So the girl has now a hard time understanding him. Let's say that he's looking all around the location like he don't know anything about the place that he's visiting. So it makes her wonder that if a person was to come kidnap us, you wouldn't be able to protect us because you don't even know where we're at. And based off that information, that tells them he's unsuccessful in his attempt to pick up a woman and date. So his fall apart the minute it takes place. Why Jim, a successful businessman that's from New York Stock Exchange, who makes $15,000, $20,000, about 5 years from now, he's in a committed relationship and then soon makes an announcement that they're about to get married and have kids. So his progress has gotten better and better and better. And as for Billy, who's from Chicago, he has unfortunate failure because it's 5 years later. He doesn't want to come out the house. He is scared and terrified of talking to women. And every time he sees the woman that rejects him, he still brings up an incident that's 5 years old. Why Jim is successful, they do a new study. They try to see what would happen if Jim got divorced. So let's say Jim gets married for about 10 to 15 years and he gets divorced. Now he's making almost $50,000. He pays his alimony, his child support. He has 3 kids. But he goes back in the dating market and he gets a younger woman. Now, let's take the divorced woman that Jim was with for 10 to 15 years. And let's see what happens if he dates an older woman. And the same thing happens again with Billy. The older woman can tell he's shy, he's awkward, he has no social skills, he doesn't seem to understand what women want, and again he gets rejected. It might have taken 2 or 3 months for it to happen. If she wanted to be nice, she could have ended it at any time she wanted to, but she let it go on for 2 to 3 months thinking he just needs to blossom and the real authentic self will come out. Now, if there are any real pickup artists or dating coaches, it would have to be a scientist. When these guys claim that they're pickup artists and dating coaches and they say, buy my book or buy my DVD, okay, if you go back to the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, it was people who could predict when the next earthquake came that their life story got turned into a movie or a television show or a book. And pickup artists saw that and said, hey, what if I do what these scientists do, what these doctors do? Doctors and scientists, those are the real pickup artists and dating coaches. They go to different places, different cities, different locations to predict when the next disaster take place. Because they go by the name of doctor or scientist, they don't get the respect and the credit that they deserve. But when they do go to a public place and they do a study of something, they get information. This is how they're able to prove or disprove someone's claim right or wrong. Now, here's what's wrong with YouTubers saying anyone can be a pickup artist or a dating coach. Well, actually, that pertains to everything. When somebody goes to a 24-hour fitness gym to go lift weights, one has to assume, ain't you supposed to be a professional bodybuilder or weightlifter or personal trainer to bench press 300 pounds, 400 pounds? So anybody can come into a 24-hour fitness and bench press 300 pounds, 400 pounds, but the reality is they're not a personal trainer. They're not a bodybuilder. They're not a weightlifter. How about this one? You have some people that go become a police officer, and you'll hear some people say, but this guy, so they just let anybody become a police officer? Same thing with a lot of these executives. You know how you get a job and you say, so they just let anybody become a manager? They just let anyone become a supervisor? Well, that's the same logic. So if we were to put a label on pickup artists or dating coaches or quote unquote dating experts on YouTube, then it would have to be based off of the same stuff that a doctor or a scientist does. There would be a label on something. So my answer is yes, you need to have self-improvement. This video is to explain it. Now, you got to have it in high school and college because that's where the problem starts. It starts at a young age, and then it gets worse as you get older. Then you become like those older men that's in their 40s or 50s in those movies and television shows. They get the nickname the creepy old man who keeps checking out all the girls because he's never learned how to talk socially. Well, if you have self-improvement in high school or in college and self-improvement at work, you would actually cut down on a lot of the problems that men have when it comes to sex and dating. So that is my answer to the problem. Now, by the end of the day, someone might say, what if self-improvement doesn't help? That's either because you're doing it at 50%. That means you try it for 3 to 6 months and then you don't try it no more. Self-improvement is supposed to be an actual process that you do every single year until everything comes together like a custom-made fit glove. And then once you understand what self-improvement is, you're good. So the answer is doctors, scientists are the real pickup artists and dating coaches. You notice those guys don't try to become rich and famous. They try to help the person. You can tell they generally want to help people. Pickup artists and dating coaches, let me refer to it as Star Wars terms. Think of the scientists and the doctors as Jedis. And think of pickup artists and dating coaches as evil Siths. The Siths think about selfish desires and immortality and power and dominance. They think about themselves. They don't think about no one else. They think inwards. And scientists or doctors or someone who believe in math and science is the answer to unlocking many mysteries to solve life's many problems, good and bad. They believe that evolution can evolve off of intelligence. They believe in surviving and thriving with math and science and numbers. So if anybody's the real pickup artist and dating coach, is actually scientists and doctors. Pickup artists and dating coaches are just trying to become rich and famous by making you buy their books and their DVDs, and then they go use the fame and fortune to go after the women they find physically, sexually attractive, while you waste your money and you don't get no results. They're like a car salesman. They sell you a cheap car. Well, what do you think a pickup artist and a dating coach does? Take out the car and put in a woman in, you're getting ripped off and you're not even getting what you were looking for. So by the end of the day, you got used. It's like being pimped by pickup artists and dating coaches. Well, a scientist and a doctor is going to give you the best answer possible. Either you listen to the doctor or you don't listen to the doctor. Either you take the advice or you don't take the advice. Either the advice helps you or the advice don't help you. And then there are times where the advice actually does help and you refuse to take it. So that's the thing. Now, scientists and doctors don't be going on TV saying, I'm the one that came up with the answer that it's money, looks, and stuff. You don't see them whine and complain about it. And you don't see them go on YouTube and say, I'm this famous doctor from Harvard. You don't see them do that. But you see pickup artists and dating coaches do that because they get attacked. And so who created Midtown? Who created the incels? Pickup artists and dating coaches. And if anyone tries to prove that, in fact, that it is money, looks, and status, it's the doctors and the scientists. Because they prove by using math, science, and numbers and common sense logics on fact. Fact is, the dinosaurs were on this planet, and an asteroid came and took the dinosaurs out, and our evolution began. That is fact. Pickup artists and dating coaches will try to come up with some logic like Star Wars. Just use the Force. That's pickup artists and dating coaches. So I'm trying to explain it 100% accurate best I can so it can come off to make sense. By the end of the day, any YouTuber who says, so anyone could be a pickup artist or a dating coach, show me some numbers. That's simple. If a guy has a car and he tries to approach a girl, he might get rejected 10 to 15 times. But one out of that rejection, the girl might give him a chance. Most women don't want to date guys that have not cars, but buses and ride buses and trains. They want a guy with a truck, a car, or a motorcycle. Fact. Most women want a guy that has his own house or an apartment. Fact. They don't want no man who lives with his mom. Fact. That's a fact. You can't take something that's made up and turn it into your own truth. When I was in theater, my theater acting teacher called it the suspension of disbelief. It feels real, it sounds real, but by the end of the day, it's not real. So if you think Darth Vader's real, that's suspension of disbelief. And to a scientist and a doctor, that's delusional behavior. You think Darth Vader's a real person. Now, the situation that happened to him was real, but not how Darth Vader has powers is real. That's what pickup artists and dating coaches are. They're like the Sith. They promise you something, but by the end of the day, you're not getting no results. They're basically tricking and deceiving you. What did the Emperor do to Darth Vader? He tricked Darth Vader into thinking that there was a power of immortality, and then for almost 25 years, what did Darth Vader come to the conclusion of? The Emperor lied. Well, what do you think pickup artists and dating coaches do for a living? They lie. They don't tell you the truth. And if you do catch a pickup artist or a dating coach trying to give you real information, it ain't going to be 100% legitimate. It's just going to be him making some stuff up and trying to give you whatever he think is necessary to give you. In other words, even if he claimed to give you all the information, he's not going to give it unless he see a purpose of giving it to you. And you're going to have to give something up. Money, you're going to give something up, and that's going to be your money and your time, unfortunately. Money you can get back, time you will not get back. That's a fact. So by the end of the day, I'm basically explaining to you in the video, yeah, when it comes up, anyone could be a pickup artist or a dating coach. So then that means we have to put labels on everything. That means if somebody goes to 24-hour fitness, well, you're not a personal trainer, you're not a bodybuilder, you're not a weightlifter. You shouldn't be trying to lift 300 pounds, 400 pounds. You got people who race their cars in downtown Los Angeles, which is illegal. But they're not professional race car drivers, right? So there should be labels for everything if you go by that logic.